straight head of hair. Let me ask you about who it is.
Accident on the brake, car turned backwards.
How's fame for you? I saw you in like Us magazine or something. It's weird. He's now in the gossip.
Yeah, that's weird. It's by the way,
nothing bad.
No, but we just to go back and this will tie through is like as you're saying, like do you worry, like what are your insecurities and whatever. I think that when you're talking about Dane, the weird thing about being a stand-up and getting famous is the relatability factor one of being like that guy, I'm supposed to listen to that guy's XYZ and he's famous and he's got this and
Truck and SUV got into the accident.
You're not always necessarily rooting for the guy who's got everything.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily want to find that guy. And I think like a guy like Louis has
You guys alright?
masterfully
You okay?
super successful, but also still maintain a relatability to it all. So I think that my fear is the more successful you become, one, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to be a guy who's still relatable on stage, but also the more famous you become, part of the way I came up with characters or stand-up is kind of like being on the subway and just watching people, right? Observing people. And the more famous you get, the more difficult it is to just sit and be a fly on the wall and watch and listen to people. And that's the research that goes into either coming up with a bit or stand-up, like if you watch it, you're watching, you're constantly kind of observing. But if you feel like you're being observed, then it's harder to be comfortable.
What does Amy Poehler smell like?
She smells great.
She smells fantastic. You're so in love. You're so in love, I can tell right there by that answer. She's just great. I'm so happy for you, man.
Thanks, Pete.
I really am.
Protect your vehicle. Order your WeatherTech automotive accessories today and know that you'll be doing a lot more than just protecting your car's floor. Learn more at WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. WeatherTech, proudly made right here in America.
Do you want to learn how to earn commissions of up to 20% by laundering millions of foreign dollars?
Well, we can't help you with that. But among the many IT problems we solve, Barracuda's email security solutions keep email phishing attacks like this from entering your business network and any valuable data from leaking out. Reclaim your network like 150,000 other businesses have. To learn more about stopping email-borne threats, visit barracuda.com/email.
Do you have an old or non-working vehicle you no longer need? Please help us save a life by donating your car, truck, or motorcycle to Cars for Kids, the original Cars for Kids with a C. They're an IRS-approved 501c3 tax-exempt company. Your donation is tax-deductible and towing-free. Please call today, 866-835-5437, or donate online at carsforkids.org. Remember, right off the car, not the kid.
Cars for Kids supports the Khan Academy to help high school dropouts earn their high school diploma. This is the 30th anniversary for the Khan Academy, and they continue to need your support. Join their cause by donating your vehicle in any condition. It doesn't have to run. Your donation will help, and 100% of the net proceeds give students a second chance in life. Donate today and receive a $50 Visa gift card as their way of saying thank you. Please call 866-835-5437 or donate online at carsforkids.org. Remember, right off the car, not the kid.
Hi, I'm Pete Dominic, host of Stand Up, where we talk about important issues that affect you every day. On Friday's program, former State Department official and Marine Matthew Hope joined us. Supreme Court expert Linda Greenhouse talked King v. Burwell. Tracy Ross of Top Poverty Radio on speech issues. Is it fair to say that in America, the United States of America, our First Amendment provides us with more freedom of speech than any other country, or are we missing something?
Well, I think it's true that the United States has more freedom of speech and higher protection for freedom of speech than any country I know of, but it's not the First Amendment. That was not true through most of U.S. history. The strong protects the what laws are basically set by interpretations in the courts, ultimately the Supreme Court.
Right.
And until the 20th century, there were, I think, maybe no or almost no freedom of speech cases that came up. By the 1920s, 1930s, it began to be discussed, and in the 1960s, the Supreme Court did reach some decisions which established a standard for protection of freedom of speech that I think probably has no counterpart. One was Times v. Sullivan, I think it was 1964. The other, Brandenburg v. Ohio, maybe 1969. That one, which was the most far-reaching, was actually a case involving the Ku Klux Klan, and the court determined that speech should be free up to participation in imminent criminal action. So, for example, if you and I go into a store intending to rob it, and you have a gun, and I say shoot, that wouldn't be protected. But that's the rough idea. However, incitement ought to be protected.
I'm just having a really hard time with the image of Professor Noam Chomsky and me going into a store to rob anything. I'm trying to think of what that store would be. But it would make a great buddy movie. What about, however, Professor Chomsky, when we look at the issue in America now, this argument that I never thought I would hear, but certainly I want to get your take on that, money is a form of speech.
Well, that was established also by the Supreme Court in a case, Buckley v. Valeo, I think it was around 1979. And that was strongly supported by the civil libertarians, the ACLU and others. I think myself that it's a rather dubious decision. It's kind of abstracted from social and political reality. Which means that if money is a form of speech, then there are people who have extremely loud voices, and there are other people who can't even whisper. Well, that's an odd definition of freedom of speech.
When you look at what's happened in France, were you familiar with this magazine, Charlie Hebdo, and have you waded into the issue of the fact that it's being so celebrated, because we do celebrate speech, but this magazine has been derogatory towards people not only of all religion, but women as well. And so where does that celebration end?
I'm one of the people who was denounced by it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some years ago. I didn't pay any attention, but I don't think much of the magazine, frankly. Nothing, but that's irrelevant to the question of freedom of speech. I don't think much of the Ku Klux Klan, but I think it was right to protect the freedom of speech. On the other hand, we should be honest about this. We don't believe in freedom of speech for others. So, for example, take the United States. In 1999, the United States bombed a television station, put it off the air in Belgrade. And the argument for doing this was that the television station was producing information supportive of the government we were attacking. Well, that's worse than what happened to Charlie Hebdo. And there are other cases. So, for example, one of the worst war crimes of the invasion of Iraq was the Marine invasion of Fallujah in 2004. Let's take a look at the New York Times, the first day of the invasion. It has a photograph of the General Hospital in Fallujah, occupied by American soldiers, which is incidentally a major war crime in itself. And it gets worse. The story describes and the picture depicts how the American soldiers were dragging patients out of their beds, putting them on the floor, tying their hands behind them, doing the same with doctors. And when the command was asked why they invaded the hospital, they said because it was a propaganda agency for the rebels. How? It was producing casualty figures. So therefore, this was legitimate. And that was regarded as legitimate. So the Times story didn't criticize it. How do we deal with that? And you can give other cases. So yes, we should be opposed, horrified by the terrorist act that took place in Paris, but we should be honest enough to look into the mirror.
You've been as much of a critic of America's foreign policy as you have American media. You often cite all the major newspapers and so on. So let me ask you a very specific question. How do you feel about, for example, the New York Times editorial board, which is as quote, liberal or progressive as they come, and yet I'm sure you've got plenty to say about that.
I mean, I agree with some of the things, a lot of the things, positions they take. I agree with others. That's reasonable. You expect that for any editorial work. But by and large, I feel more or less in sympathy with many of the stands that they take, not all.
Where do you think we are today, Professor Chomsky, with race in America? Or what's the relevant question I should be asking?
That's a relevant question. Now take a look at the
Fed back for a full refund. Want to know why celebrities, athletes, and doctors are switching to Reverie sleep systems instead of Sleep Number or Tempur-Pedic? Call right now to find out. 888-888-5990 or visit REVERIE.com. That's 888-888-5990 or Reverie.com.
Bombas Socks, the athletic leisure sock engineered to look better, feel better, and perform better with a mission to help those in need. Socks, as it turns out, are the #1 most requested clothing item in homeless shelters. And Bombas was founded to help address that problem by donating 1 pair of socks for every pair purchased. Bombas knew that in order to donate more pairs of socks, they'd have to design a better sock than anything else on the market. The company spent 2 years on research and development to create 7 substantial updates to the standard athletic sock. Updates include a tab to prevent blisters, an extra comfort footbed, honeycomb arch support, and the absence of toe seams. Bombas are game-changing socks that have to be felt to be believed, and the company has donated more than 275,000 pairs since launching in October 2013. To get 20% off your first order and to help further a great mission, go to bombas.com/radio. That's bombas.com/radio.
Success Without Stress with Bob Ross. What is Transcendental Meditation? How can it help improve your life? Every month, Bob Ross, Executive Director of the David Lynch Foundation, is joined by some of the most successful people in entertainment and business whose lives have been transformed by TM. Increase your focus and productivity. Put yourself on a path toward Success Without Stress with Bob Ross. The last Friday of every month at 6 p.m. East, 3 West on Sirius XM Insight Channel 121.
Stand Up with Pete Dominick. It's like a classroom, only he's not a teacher, he's a student. A student who disrupts class and holds everyone back.
Welcome back to Stand Up. I'm Pete Dominick, and this is a best of since we started here at Sirius XM Insight, because it is President's Day. We've got the day off, and obviously you've listened before, you've heard me talk about my friend, Kevin Costner. Great new movie he came in to promote, Black or White. Here's my conversation about his entire career, especially the movie and the issues it deals with, race in America. Here's my conversation with Kevin Costner.
No problem.
Well, I've been promoting it for a long time, and his appearance for a while, you hear me drop his name so much it probably annoys you and makes you sound like such a huge asshole. But I'm very excited that he's joining us now. Everybody knows Kevin Costner. Field of Dreams, Bull Durham, JFK, Tin Cup, Man of Steel, Draft Day, to name a couple of recent ones, and of course, the hugely successful epic, which I bonded over when I first met him years ago, Dance